Hi guys, Rohan here with another tutorial on end-to-end web development. So today we are going to be building our first web page, which will be the web page, main page. Sorry, too many pages there. We will be building the page, and so first I would like you guys to take note in the description. Sometimes I will leave some tools down there and websites which you can use to build some of the stuff that we are going to be designing in Photoshop. So we will be designing the entire site in Photoshop first, or different elements, and then we will code it all together. Also in the description for this particular video, I've put in some links on good site design. And so I think you guys should look at those and pick up a few pointers on right fonts, font families, color schemes, colors, site layout, design, that sort of stuff. So take a look at those. But anyways, first things I want to do is start off with the background. So this is the background that I've made. Now you may be thinking it's one image rendered, but it's actually a 32 by 200 px image. And what I've done here is I've made a bunch of lines, and I've repeated those all the way down. So they eventually fade, and I'll show you how to do that with gradients. Over here is a solid color, so we'll see how we can achieve this when we code it. So anyways, let's go to our Photoshop file. So before I start the tutorial, I made this Photoshop file really quickly, and this is the same gradient that's applied here. And so, again, you can see the stripes that I've built here, the layer, the background layer, and the fade. So why don't we build this again? So we'll press a new document. We'll make it 32 pixels by 200 pixels, and we'll press OK. Close this. So first things first, we want to do is create a new layer. Next, we want to select the background, and we want to switch the colors in the corner here, thereby getting the black that we have. And just to ensure that it is black, we will open the color picker. So it is black. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to paint the background black. To do this, press the Alt key and press the Delete key, thereby making it black. Now, select the first layer. And now we are going to make a line. Now, lines will be made at a 45-degree angle. To select the line tool, you may see by default there's a rectangle tool, like so. To just change it to the line tool, click, hold, and select the line tool. We're going to go up to the weight, and we're going to change that to 7px. This is really crucial now. Two things you must take note. To get the 45-degree angle, we just hold the Shift key and we drag, thereby making the line. The second one is we're going to make our lines much bigger than the actual canvas size, so that when we're copying, we don't have a problem with the lines being too short and then us having to expand them. So let's create our line. Here we go. There's our line. And it's in black, so what we're going to do is we're going to double click on the color here, and we're going to change it to white. So obviously it didn't change, so we're going to have to double click it. And we can change it manually from here. And then we can press OK. Now, a good idea right now, before we create the second shape, is to switch the colors, just in case. So now we're going to press the Move tool, and we're going to move it over. Now at this point, it's very key that you get this part right. So we're going to zoom in, and we're going to zoom in to 500%. going to scroll, and we're going to make sure that this dot, this gray dot that you see here, lines up with the corner, like so. Now we're going to click the shape one. We're going to right click, duplicate. Now, it's not crucial what you call your shape, just as long as you create it. And I'll show you why later on it's not crucial to name your shapes. We're going to click and drag. Now, for this next shape, you want your pixel, your gray pixel in this corner over here to line up with the top. But it should be one space down just from the top. One space meaning one pixel. Then we're going to click the shape 1 copy and shape 1. We're going to right click and duplicate layers. We're going to press OK. We're going to click, drag, and drag these layers down. Again, we are going to use the selection tool and open this information bar. Now, if you don't see this information bar, it's really easy to open it. Just go to Window and go to Info, and then it'll open. Now we're going to take the selection tool and find out the difference between the first set here and the second set here. We should probably at this point zoom in even further. So let's move into 750%. Now let's measure using the selection tool, and we find that this is 21 px. So we want a difference of 20 px for our purposes. So we're going to move this up 1. Again, we're going to select the selection tool, and we are going to again measure the difference. Difference is 20 px exactly. Now we're going to select all 4 of our shapes. We're going to right click, duplicate layers, and press OK. We'll hide this information bar that we see here for a bit, and we will scroll down. Next, we're going to press the selection tool, and we are going to drag all the way down. We're going to continue dragging until our lines are met. Right there. Now we're going to take out the selection tool once again, and we're going to measure exactly the difference that we see here. At this point, you should probably activate the information tool so that you can see the length. This is 23. So we're going to use the move tool. We're going to select the rectangle marquee tool. Then we're going to select the tool, move tool, and we're going to move this up 3 spaces. Again, we're going to get the marquee tool out, and we're going to again measure this distance. This is 21. So given that is 21, we're going to move it up by selecting the selection, the move tool, and move it up 1 more space. Then we're going to scroll down, and that ensures that the whole canvas has these diagonal lines. At this point, we can zoom out to 100%. So now you can see that our diagonal lines are taking shape. At this point, deselect all 4 layers, and we are going to create a group. This group we're going to rename to stripes. So now you can understand why I didn't name my stripes properly at first. You're going to select the first stripe, select the last stripe, and you're going to insert them into the folder. You're going to close this folder. At this point, you can delete the background, and then you can create a new layer. Drag this down. We're going to click on stripes. We're going to right click, duplicate group, and we're going to call it stripes. We're going to right click on our stripes group, and we're going to convert to smart object. thereby making it directly editable. Now we're going to hide the original group, and as you can see, we still have the stripes. Next, we're going to create a gradient. So select your layer 1 and select the gradient tool. Now by default, you will see the paintbrush bucket. An easy way of changing that, similar to how we changed the line tool, is to select the paint bucket tool and select gradient. Now go to your gradient, and for this gradient I've selected the following color. For the other side, all we have to do is click the top. Now, the difference between the bottom and the top is the top represents the opacity, and the bottom represents the actual colors. So in this case, the opacity's percentage is 0. So we're going to increase that to 100%, and then press OK. Now we're going to create our gradient. To do this and see it better, we're going to disable stripes. We're going to click and drag. When you're doing this, hold the Shift key so that you can accurately get your gradient vertical. It'll create a gradient as such. Now just re-enable your stripes and see if you like it. At this point, another step should be done. Stripes should be selected. The layer type should be changed from normal to overlay. Automatically, we see the lines starting to fade. Now we just change the opacity and we bring it down to about 20%, thereby making this nice fade. We're going to increase, for our purposes, the amount of visibility to 25%. Now, playing with gradients and opacity may take you some time, so don't get frustrated immediately. It will come with practice and experience. So I think I will go back to 20% because I like that. Now, to create your fade, just create a new layer, right-click, and layer properties. Rename this to stripe fade. Now to create your fade, go back up to the gradient tool. The gradient editor will open, and this time take the opacity and change it to 0. Press OK. Click and drag. Now you can see that the lines have slowly dissolved. Now we want a better look, so again, what I said before is gradients take some time to get the right look and feel that you want, so we're just going to fiddle around a bit. So that's not the look that I like, so I'm going to increase it all the way. So sometimes to get the right look, you need to fiddle around a bit. So this is one that I particularly like. So now we're going to save this file. So let's save it. And we shall save it to our test files. Sorry, not our test files. We shall save it to our PS web page. We'll replace this background image. Okay. Now, I should probably talk about something right now which is extremely important, and extremely important to web development. So, choosing the right image type. So, there are 3 types of images. There's bitmap, JPEG, and PNG. Those are the primary ones that are used for web. Now, bitmap, the differences between all 3 is bitmap holds a very good resolution but very bad at compressing. JPEG, very good at compressing but bad at holding its resolution. PNG, which is the newer version and what we are going to use, can hold the resolution like a bitmap and can compress like a JPEG. So what we're going to do is we're going to save this as a JPEG. So we're going to press Control, Alt, Shift, and S. Now a window should pop up like this. We're going to make sure that the PNG is set to PNG 24. We're going to make sure transparency is enabled, and we're gonna turn on interlace. Now you guys probably are wondering, what does interlacing mean, and how is it going to benefit me and how is it not? Interlacing means that the PNG, when it's loaded by the internet, if it's slow, it'll load a low quality version first and then update it slowly once all the elements on the page have loaded. So now we are going to save this. It's going to open a window like this. We're going to go to our test file. Sorry, keep on missing that. We're going to go to PS web page. We're going to select this background image and we're going to save, and we are going to replace. This window thereafter should disappear. I should also explain another thing. Sometimes when you're looking at your browser, it may look like you can see a big difference between the actual main color and the actual fade and the gradient. Sometimes you will have to restart, so be wary of that. So make sure you save often and save into multiple backup files so that whenever you make a major change, you have a previous file in case you mess up. So we'll go back to the PS file, and here we have it. We have our image here. Now, to give you a small sneak peek of what the code looks like and how I've done this title page that you see here, let's take a look at this Sublime text document I've created. So right away, the first thing you should notice is the CSS that I put here. If you're not familiar with CSS, don't worry about it. I will explain this later in a tutorial that I'll do on just coding. But for those who are web developers, you should be able to understand this quite clearly. So this is CSS, not CSS3. And so what I've done is I've made a background image with the same image that we've created here. And what I've done is I've gone and repeated it across the screen, thereby giving me a repeat across the screen. Now, what else I've done is I've created a background color to match the bottom color that you see here so that I get that seamless look. Now, the reason why I've done this and not rendered one image is because A, it loads faster, and B, it fits all screens. And that's what you want. You just don't want to fit one browser. You want to fit all screen sizes and all browser types. And so therefore I haven't used CSS3. So I'm teaching just basic CSS and HTML, as well as some JavaScript that we will use to do like hover and different things like that. So that is just a sneak peek, and we will look at this code later on. So there you have it. You have your image and you have your background. In the next tutorial, I'll cover menus as well as making the web page logo. So as always, guys, please do subscribe. The link is up there. And please take a look at the Good Web Design notes at the bottom and the links. And I will see you in the next tutorial. Thanks, guys.